financialinvestor.com's daily brief. The answer to your question is learn the goddamn process, trade your trading plans, don't take too much risk on any one trade, and just let yourself get rich. Hello, everyone. Happy Friday the 13th. Dun, dun, dun. I suppose the only thing that would make this any worse of a day would be if this was a triple witching, which it looks like actually October, September. Yeah, so it'd just be a triple witch, not a quadruple witch. And actually, I don't even really have quadruple witch anymore. But anyway, hello, all of you people. And there's not really that many people here watching the video today. I did notice people kind of checked out a little bit of the market of late. But anyway, it is what it is. One good thing about a crazy nut like me is basically I've got the market in my blood. I will always be here. If the market's open, you know where Brian's going to be. Hell, in past 10 years, I probably could count the amount of vacation days I've taken on a single hand. But anyway, it is what it is. And of course, with crypto, it's 24/7, 365. So what do we got here today? This is our basic dashboard view. So everybody in the world gets to see this if you come and sign up, even for the free membership, I suppose. And actually, it's interesting. We did have a S&P 500 bearish cross signal yesterday. And I think when I was talking to you guys earlier in the week, of course, Julian does Thursdays. And I get to sit on the YouTube page and throw cheap, silly comments at the at the broadcaster. But Julian talked to you guys yesterday, and I do remember though when I was talking to you earlier in the week, I had sort of suggested that this was a V bottom. We actually didn't have technically an oversold condition on the S&P 500 even here. Short term did get oversold, but medium term, not really that much. Right? Slow was still pretty high. So I kind of conjectured because this was a V bottom, we went straight up. It was a pretty nice rally, and if you had captured it, there was some good money to be made there. But I don't know how long lasting it was going to be. And sure enough, got a big fat sell signal yesterday on the breadth, and interestingly enough, you can see the S&P is not really that oversold here. So this might have some legs to go here. And actually, I was quite pleased. One thing that I do like that Julian has done is he's taken a lot of time and effort to sort of say, well, here is the trading results. Had you bought the ES here or whatever proxies. I think he even has some leveraged ETFs that he's following. And the numbers are quite stunning, I will say. They're pretty darn impressive. So I think we even had somebody overnight say, Jesus, that's so compelling. I'm not even going to bother waiting for Black Friday events. And I think I did when I was listening to Julian's broadcast yesterday. It was kind of like, wow, we're raising prices. We're not. We're going to have a Black Friday deal. We're not. Blah, blah, blah. I think, yes, prices are rising. And I think probably at our team meeting this weekend, we probably should put this in the concrete and actually make exactly what the deal is going forward. But yeah, no doubt about it. We are going to be raising the price of this. Just even one or two of these trades can translate easily into a full year's subscription cost. And I was even tweeting out yesterday some of the key reversal signals were so powerful that they could easily justify the cost of an annual membership. I think so. Look forward to that. But I'd also say too that we are planning on doing a Black Friday deal, and I would ideally like that Black Friday deal to be so compelling that you're just like, I can't not participate in this. So just be forewarned. What probably happens is we're probably going to raise the prices here in the short term. And then the Black Friday deal is going to be, well, you can have 2022 prices in 2023 or something like that, So anyway, David over there is checking in on the YouTube page. Looks like we have a couple viewers. David saying, love the Coinigy show. Yeah, that's a free show that I do on Wednesdays. Used to do it with a couple site members, but man, it was just so much work putting it all together. And I really would like to ideally sort of cultivate relationships with crypto sort of people. And, it came to my attention that Coinigy people were kind of interested in getting the show going back and up and running again. So it was an opportunity to sort of reconnect with them. So I'm pretty pleased with all that. And I think on balance that show is doing exactly what I was hoping. So if you are interested in learning the basics of TA, and maybe you're not ready for a site membership or you don't want to commit to actually the whole education program, that's a good general platform where we just get together and I try to teach the guy at Coinigy, Joe, who's a super, super nice guy. And I really, really like nice guys. In fact, after my wife passed, the one thing that I sort of asked Spirit for is, could you please surround me with as many nice, good people as possible? Because I need to be reminded that humans aren't so nasty and ugly. And that's the one thing that I've gotten over the past 10 years, I will say, is I'm surrounded by just absolutely beautiful human beings. And I'm pretty lucky, I'll say that. So anyway, so with your comment there, and if you are interested in trading the crypto market, that is specifically crypto, no stock markets, no futures, anything like that. So it's a great show to tune into to learn, and also we do talk quite a bit about various different crypto names and ideas that you might want to consider. And I tell you, one of the names that I was kind of uber bullish about was this Frax. I think this is Frax. I know FXS. I mean, that's the symbol. And I was barking about it when it was in reload zones and reload zones. And this is a good example of Brian's favorite fib times two. I mean, this is like Brian's favorite fib on steroids. And if you ever get a level like that, oh my goodness. I mean, there's nothing guaranteed in this business. We all know that. But damn, that's a hell of a level in there. And sure enough, boom, up she goes. And the good part about this, the reason why I was actually most excited about this is because this is a really good example of rational analysis. Great technical trade location, just absolutely beautiful. Coupled with some really good fundamental drivers. They've created a product that basically mimics the yield of T-bills, I think it is, or maybe it's treasury bonds. I can't remember which. Zug actually is usually on the call with us here, so surprisingly we don't have Zug here. He'd easily tell us. He's really a big, huge fan of this thing, and that guy's going to be so stinking rich, it's not even funny. So way to go, Zug. And this is a great looking name down here. I don't know, maybe it's getting a little expensive, but if it does get back down, I've already actually got 2 cars going on this thing, so I don't really need any more cars. But if there's ever an excuse to buy more of anything, Brian's always interested. All right. Crazy Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th, screwy day. And of course, we just got a bread sell signal. Why? I got a funny feeling that the stock market, we're actually into eclipse season. I don't know whether we want to call it a season or not, but in the after party today, every Friday, we have a special guest. And it's fascinating that he happens to come on Friday the 13th of all days. But we're going to have Cole on the call today, and he's sort of our celestial guru. And it's always very educational, very enlightening listening to what Cole has to share. And if I understand correctly, like we had one eclipse that started at the beginning of the month, and then there's another eclipse at the end of the month. And this is just a really, really screwy period in the market. And then what an irony, the FOMC actually meets like the first week following this eclipse. I think it's like the 7th, 8th or something like that. So don't be surprised if there's some absolute insanity in the market through this event window. And then once we're on the other side of this and we're on the other side of the Fed, then we're going to start looking at what the world's going to look like following this. But this is a huge pivot. And to be honest with you, especially with the fact that the breadth is pointing lower, I'll give you a quick boo at it. We won't go into too much detail, but I think you all were well aware. We had huge sell signals in crypto breadth recently. So now we have like literally the whole universe all pointing in the same direction. Uh-oh, that's not a good sign. Be careful here, everyone. Demonstrator of best practices. Actually, I got off a half decent little scalp. Well, it wasn't really a scalp. It was an okay trade. I guess yesterday. Took 23 ticks from the crude market yesterday. The only problem is today, I mean, I like to trade setups and I like to try to be the demonstrator of best practices. I don't know whether yesterday's trade setup was really all that great. I mean, it was nice that I took it, made some money, especially for this silly combine thing that I'm doing for everybody. Demonstrator of best practices. Um, Actually, I did go through my visualizations today. It's ironic when I actually go through all the process and stuff and get myself all ready, and then I watch diligently. Unfortunately, I just didn't have anything really set up today in Crude. I mean, it was just an absolutely insane move overnight, and we rallied right up into levels. And you can see the 3-minute chart was going absolutely gangbusters. The 9-minute chart was going gangbusters. We were way above the POC here. You can see on the daily charts, and like I said, the 4 hours, we were right up against resistance. So I was watching really diligently first thing this morning for any kind of setup to get me short. You can see, I tell you guys you have to journal every single day, and you have to literally every single thing that you see, how you feel. I even put notes in here about how frustrated I was. You have to download your emotions and all your sort of human crap onto your journal. For God's sakes, do not download it onto the market or onto your trading account, or else you're going to end up blowing yourself up. But it was a bit frustrating first thing this morning. We had the pit open and I was all ready to go, even had like 9-minute L tangonators all ready to go. I was just a beautiful bearish MACD momentum divergences, Willie stupid, even RSI divergences. So I was like, just give me an M, give me any kind of M to work with, and I'm more than happy to take the trade. But what do? They literally took the market straight down. Actually, that's too bad I didn't have a 3-minute. Anyway, 3-minute chart waiting for it to form. Willie was stupid. No MACD div yet off that 3-minute, and no M in price. And that's actually a rule I kind of broke yesterday. Demon Finder entry was I really wasn't crisp on waiting for the M. So this is that 9-minute. You can see there's the pit open, and they literally took the market straight down. Look at you can see the most beautiful momentum top, Willie stupid, the whole thing. Massive selling volume right on the pit open. And Chris was even saying, because he was traveling yesterday, so he wasn't able to take the opening range trade, but he was all pissed off that because the opening range trade on Crude was a monster winner. Isn't that right, Chris? I don't know whether Chris is here or not. I'm sure. You could probably attest to that. But anyway.
Yeah, that's pretty true. I did
Yeah.
miss that. Yep.
So, and I've got to follow my rules. I mean, I suppose I could have hit that fractal if I really wanted to, but I just didn't have that M. So as a result, I couldn't take a trade. Did have this is kind of fun later on in the day, and as we're heading into the daily brief and stuff, I'm not really allowed to do any live trading because then I'll just be way too distracted. But this is totally my trade. 78.6. You know, you saw me talking about Zug and his coin BFF right there at 86.58 as well too. This was a pretty well defined AB equals CD objective. And then coming into these levels, you can see really pretty MACD bearish divergence, Willie stupidly overbought, even potentially RSI divs, volume divergence, not really so much OBV, but you can see the buyers kind of backing away here. So I strapped on a paper short. You know, if I was concentrating fully on this, I would have done this in the Combine account. But you know, while we're doing these videos, and like I said, we got a really cool interview with a site member about celestial stuff today. I don't want to be distracted with live trades. So threw it on as a paper trade. We'll see what happens. Basically risking the new highs. And this is just basically like totally textbook what I do. I had a nice little 3-bar fractal there to get, well, actually that came in afterward. I was hunting this little double top, and then we had an engulfing bar that came in there. So the counter trend rally up top there, I hit that. So actually it did go a little bit higher and then put in an outright empire right off that exact same level. No idea what the hell's going to happen here. I mean, that's a trader's life. We'll see. I mean, I might get stopped out, might make a pile of money. It's just a paper trade, but nonetheless, demonstrate our best practices. We had the divergence, we had location, we had price structure now, even more so. So I'm happy to be in that position. We'll see what happens. With regard to the other markets, probably the market of today that really shocked me is this crazy gold market is going absolutely nuts. I'm only trading the Crude for the live account for this top step. I wouldn't trade multiple accounts because I just want to be the demonstrator of best practices. For new people to trading, I don't think it's a good idea to do multiple vehicles. You're kind of asking for trouble. So, but on a daily basis, I do do sort of a summary of these markets. You can see here is the stock market. It's starting to come back a little bit. Now that we're heading into the options expiry window, they'll probably bring the market back a little bit. But I'll tell you, the one market that really jumped out at me, look at that. Gold's up $55 an ounce. When was the last time you saw that kind of move? Look at that daily chart. Kaboom! So that actually kind of surprised me. I wasn't expecting that. Let's put it that way. It's interesting off the daily charts. I think you could make the argument A, B, C, D did come down and hit an appropriate technical level. So it does make sense that this was probably the end of the move. Also, too, this was 61.8 to 78.6 of this entire range reload zone. So my hunch is the institutions probably reloaded on that dump down into that level. What's interesting about this, though, is that you can see how they just gap the market violently higher off this level. I mean, fun trivia, the Friday trivia question. What's the odds of them filling this gap in at some point down the road? You know the answer to this. Anybody who follows this channel and has listened to me and taken the education program, all that kind of stuff, you know the answer to this. So I don't think that this is like a whole new bull market. We're going straight up from here. This to me looks more like dead cat bounce. The market had been going down forever and it probably got ridiculously oversold. Was Willie officially stupid? He was. What a surprise. So interesting, really not even any new like bullish divergences in momentum. What I think the way that I would describe this is they got the shorts on the run here. and and this is turning into nothing more than just a short squeeze. And they've got them. They are squeezing them hard right now. Um, Also, too, I used to trade October gold. I don't really hear too many people talking about October gold anymore. You can even see I have on here the December contract. So maybe that even opens the opportunity for a little bit of shenanigans from these market manipulators in New York. I'd also say, too, that, these gaps, I mean, you can see just like their gilts there on YouTube pointed out that there's 90% odds of us filling in these gaps down the road. Well, the same thing. If you had seen this chart on the way down and you saw these gaps, well, there's a 90% probability that these gaps would be filled in. And guess what? That's exactly what they're doing today. And then the last thing that I would say about this market is there's the original market structure top. Now, you want to see something really freaky? What happens if I do a chaos theory off of this M top? Where does it suggest that price will probably stop going down and maybe start coming back up? Oh, wow. Again, more anecdotal evidence that maybe this was just a little bit too far to the downside. And actually, what usually ends up happening on these chaos theory events is we'll get a bit of a fight here. And then if the bulls are back in control, which it kind of looks like they are right now, then we'll come back up and we'll do the Wyckoff check of the original breakdown. And that's basically what's going on here. And because that's been broken, this formation actually is now, I think it's negated. So this study is over now. But I think it painted a pretty damn good objective there. And of course, also too, we had all these AB equals CD objectives, one there and one there. So is this the start of a brand new bull market? I don't think so. Is this a short covering rally? Sure. Short squeeze? Sure. Let's call it that too. I definitely like that kind of thinking here. So anyway, it is what it is. If you are a gold bug, now what I would say is you want to watch these levels down in here on the pullback, and can we get some sort of W to form down here down the road to set up the new bull market? So anyway, we'll see how that goes. I guess Chris is telling me that we're probably approaching the 10-minute mark. 10 minutes left to go here. So we'll try and wind this up. Interestingly enough, it's Friday the 13th, which, in itself, superstitious, all that kind of fun stuff. Yeah, it looks like my short off of that Brian's favorite fib level. I mean, this is so cliche how often this works. So looks like that is working. But what's driving all of this today? And I mean, half of what I'm supposed to do here with you guys is, man, what does this 35-year veteran sort of think? What's actually going on in the market here? Why are things doing what they're doing? Honestly, I actually get the impression that there's a bit of a vacuum in the market today with regard to news. So you can see, they have, say, oil surges on Middle East conflict. What? I mean, first and foremost, this is now technically old news. There's no oil in the Gaza Strip. I can absolutely tell you that for certain. I don't really think that this is the reason why oil is rallying the way that it is. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a little bit more to do with market manipulation than anything else. I will say that, looking at these news headlines, I did see that, Chinese data is coming in a little bit better than expected. But, this is where this kind of gets into semantics. They report that, oh, look, exports fell less than expected. They still fell 6.5% on the year. I mean, that's a ridiculous number. Wow, but the market was thinking it was going to fall 8%. I don't know. Something stinks about all this. I think that a lot of this just simply is there's kind of a news vacuum today. It is Friday the 13th. You can see, I mean, the news was relatively mute. Got a couple, of course, Miss Lagarde. I'm sure she's probably adding a whole bunch of uncertainty into the equation. The only major news that I saw today, of course, was University Consumer Sentiment. Came in 63, so that's a bit less than what we expect. But considering the rise in oil prices of late, That doesn't surprise me. So is this what they're blaming the market meltdown on? I don't know. I believe it or not, if I was going to pick something to blame on what is driving price action right now, I think it has everything to do with the eclipse and the way that us humans we go a little bit just nuts through these events. So I don't really think it's a lot of earnings, or excuse me, news driven. I mean, the general news it didn't support the market, and we had a massive build in crude oil supplies yesterday. So you can't argue that the fundamentals are like uber bullish for crude. I think if anything, this is a really good example. You sometimes see days like this where the price rallies substantially and these media outlets, they have to justify their jobs. So they're sort of like, okay, well, what can we blame this on? How what we've got to have a reason for why this is happening. And honestly, I don't buy this. If anything, though, I will say that it's not going to help the situation if the Israelis just keep on murdering and it's just day after day of murder, 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 which I have a feeling Mr. Netanyahu is one. He has been salivating for this kind of excuse to do this for years. And frankly speaking, I think the whole damn thing was sort of manufactured to justify them to be able to go in and just commit horrible atrocities. I'm not going to make any excuses for what these Hamas idiots did. And if anything, I think they signed their own death warrant. But I do definitely think that all of this is very eclipsy. And it's like, yeah, fucking remember back in March of 20. Geez, that's like 3 years ago now. Can you believe how long ago that is now? But, I mean, there was guys saying, I'll sacrifice my life to save capitalism. What? You're just getting sucked into the 1%'s plan. Don't be, a chump like that. But anyway, it is what it is. So, maybe we finish off the broadcast here today. Yeah, I mean, it does look like a red day. These are sort of all the market darlings and a couple of the big ETFs and then a couple of the commodity ETFs and stuff that we like to follow. And yeah, we are starting to get some weakness come into the market. And interesting enough, probably the one that, I guess a couple notes that I'd make is number one, you can see how we have potential fractal tops coming in on the semiconductors. And of course, we've said NVIDIA all along here has been basically the market darling, stock market wise. And was it realistic for us to think about maybe a head and shoulders top? We just had to make sure that the right shoulder came in lower than this left shoulder. Looks like if we have this now empire forming here today, and if we have follow through Monday morning, then this is basically just business as usual. I just don't know whether this thing is actually going to break and we head into a new bear. You listen to a lot of people in the marketplace and they're all calling for recession and stuff. But ironically enough, if this thing does fractal out and we do come back down to this neckline, my hunch is this is going to be into that eclipse window. But I don't think that this thing breaks. I think what happens is everybody in the world gets insanely bearish through the eclipse. We all fucking lose our lunch. Cole will be more than happy in the after party to tell you about how crazy it's going to get here into the end of the month. Is that right, Cole? Cole, you with me here, buddy? You ready to rock this thing?
Yes, sir.
There he is. So I tell you, every Friday, it's worth being a site member here at TRI. We have awesome, awesome content. So, but I could see something like this fire. I could see the market melt down here. It come into support, and I've told you guys before, it's a good rule of thumb. When the market darlings, when people start shitting their pants about the market darlings, people were shitting their pants right in here. And then instantly the market mysteriously turns and goes ratcheting right back up. Well, I could argue that this thing has gone through a pretty nice rally. We could even do AB equals CDs off of this. It's going to come back down here into the eclipse event. Everybody's going to be screaming bloody murder and it's going to be the end of the world. And I think that's a trap. So anyway, mark my words. Let's see what happens. Also, now, if you want sort of proxies that have broken, that aren't market darlings, but look like they're in trouble, I thought it was interesting. This Netflix sort of, it led the way up from the bottom last winter. I guess, well, a year or two ago now. God, I can't believe where the hell did this year go? Anyway, you can see that it's emmed out, it's breaking down, and there's 2.618s. I could see fireworks out of this kind of stuff. So, this is probably where you're going to see the most damage. Notice there's a big gap in there. So, and anyway, looks like there's a little gap right in there. So I could very easily see this part of the market, these names that, they actually had really, really nice rallies off the bottoms, but now they're starting to lose a bit of steam here. I could see them in a bit of trouble. And it's interesting how Allen here has gone very dormant. You don't hear anything out of Allen right now. So it is interesting how that weekly key reversal signal is still working on him. And really nothing's happened here. If you were in this trade, it's just big hurry up and do nothing. So I find that fascinating. So anyway, closing thoughts. Actually, we're having some interesting conversations about the US dollar index, although that's a pretty messy chart. Did actually pick up some alternative fuel stocks. This is a cute little W that came in here. I've already taken one stab trying to pick a bottom on this thing and got stopped out. And in came another W, a W within a W. So I worked a stink bid at 127 and I got filled on this thing this morning. So we'll see how that goes. I'm also working a stink bid to try and buy this Ballard Power, the engulfing bar low at about 491. So you can see 497. Look how slow my system is here. Holy crap. Hello, are you here? Well, that's brutal. What the fuck? All right. Well, I guess I can't show you that. That's probably Karma saying, well, let's wind this up, Brian. Maybe we don't need to show them that. I'll talk in the after party about that kind of stuff if there is any interest. What I wanted to comment on was the US dollar index. And actually, it was interesting. I posted charts in the lounge. Technically, according to our moving average trending system, this is a weekly price chart. Look at the last time the US dollar index spat up a buy signal. That was when the moving averages crossed there. And look at that huge move. Then they broke down and we went through quite a bit of a malaise there. Notice that these moving averages have actually turned back bullish here. I don't know whether I really want to be too big of a hurry to call a top here on the US dollar. And what I do find fascinating is that everybody and their brother, of course, is calling for a top and the US dollar is going to collapse and all that kind of stuff. I just don't see it. Sorry. I mean, call me crazy. Most people do. But I don't know whether it's a good idea to get too uber bearish about the US dollar. All right. So, obviously that gold market was a huge thing for me earlier. That really surprised me. Well, it looks like the oil market's moving back up. We did have the breakdown in the crypto market. So, they're kind of still working their bear patterns here. But there are some bright spots, like I showed you. That FXS sure looks interesting down in here. And of course, banged off some huge wins in those coins like Loom. And it's still going higher. So if you're lucky and you can sneak your way in off the bottom of these markets, this kind of stuff happens. And, how do you explain something like that? I don't know how you explain it, but what I will say is we're banging out doubles the whole way up. I don't have it on this screen, but I suppose you could look on the Twitter feed or on the site and you can see those charts. So. All right, there's your Friday the 13th report. It's a pretty crazy ass market. I'll tell you that much, by crackers. Oh, actually, so yeah, we just come back up to the top end of the range here. $30 on this, $20 on this paper trade. Not really, it's sort of a non-event right now. Anyway. Okay, let's go over and hang out with Cole and have an awesome after party. Super excited. Cole Stradamus. That's what we're going to call you from now on. I like that. All right. So have yourselves a great rest of your day. PMA for the win. Come on out for the after party and we will talk astrology and what the hell these eclipses are doing to us. I really still think, honestly, that that's what's driving all of this. And I don't think it's really any econs or any politics or anything. It's just the humans just being the stupid humans as they always are. And around these celestial events, they get really stupid. So, anyway. All right. Have yourselves a great day. We'll talk to everybody, of course, on Sunday for broiler chickens. Slow and steady wins the race. Don't take no wooden nickels. Remember what your number one job is. All the best and bye for now.